This is an examination of the hidden human condition.
This is the Hidden Killers Podcast
with Tony Bruschi.
Retired FBI Special Agent Jennifer Coffindaffer is with us as we continue to discuss the Kohberger case all this week. So many questions, so many things to go through. But first, I want to talk right now today about the data, the amount of information that they're going to have to go through. Specifically, the defense. They seem to be raising their hands quite a bit, going, hey, we got a lot of stuff here to go through. What was it, like 50-some terabytes of data?
Terabytes. And I'm not a techie, Tony. Maybe you are, but they're telling me that is, it's astronomical.
Well, it seems like a lot on the surface, because a terabyte is a lot of data. When you think you go from like megabyte, gigabyte, terabyte. But at the same point, they're not really saying exactly what that data is. One could, in theory, have a couple hours of super high definition movies on there, and that could take up a lot of terabytes of data and may not be as extreme as we think of it. I know there's been a lot of comparisons to, well, how many pages would that be? Unless, I mean, whose computer is filled up with just pages of information on Word files? It's certainly there, but it usually takes up very little data. I'm very curious as to what is taking up that much space. That, to me, when I think of that much data, is going to be pointing to video and images and high definition and very high quality, large chunks of video, images, things of that nature.
No, I agree. I'm not a techie at all, so I hate to speculate, but I have heard a techie say, this was at WFLA, that it would encompass, I think, all of their television shows or all of their shows, their news shows that they run for years. Wouldn't even, and when I thought of it in those terms, and then they also put it in terms of pages, can't remember how many pages it was.
It was
like
insane.
100 million or something pages. I don't know, but I agree with you. A lot of it's going to be the search for the Elantra.
Yeah.
I think all of that, just imagine, that was parceled out to the FBI offices, to the analysts, and they would have looked through mounds of paperwork. So I could see the defense using part of that, saying, look it's really this guy with this Elantra, or this guy with this Elantra. So they're going to try to find something to show that it's somebody other than Bryan Kohberger.
Sure. I would imagine surveillance data would possibly also be on there, and that could very easily be a lot of just raw video for hours and hours and hours from God knows how many cameras.
Agree with you. Hours and hours of the camera video that was never even used.
Exactly.
But they collected it. So, yes, I completely agree. The business cameras, how about all the cameras just involved, all the media involved with just surveilling him over those days before his arrest? It's just a lot. And they're going to have somebody go through and triage all of that.
Yeah, I mean,
there's no way this trial's in October.
I'm going to get to that, too, because I'm curious, because that is a lot of information to go through. And obviously, one attorney cannot do something like that. You're going to have to hire somebody to go through, but also someone who you can't just, go on Craigslist and go, hey, who wants to watch videos for the next, 7 months? You have to have someone who knows what they're looking for and be dedicated to actually doing that and paying close attention. That sounds like a very steep hill to climb, one that can be done, but that can't be an easy task to undertake.
Well, normally, and this, of course, is part of my bailiwick, because this is what I do, is it's going to take an expert witness, really, that should come in there, a former law enforcement officer who understands what could possibly help the defense, what could be exculpatory, what could be manipulated into looking exculpatory, or just is, in their view, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to be somebody sitting down there, and then that expert is going to need to hire a team. This is going to be a very expensive trial. We already know they've hired experts. They hired one of the best to do the crime scene. I believe he was in there just days after the arrest. So, yeah, it's it's a lot. You're going to have to hire somebody that's capable and understands process.
So that being said, with all of that data, all of that information that needs to be gone through, and you said that there's no way this trial is going to happen in October. Where do you think this is going to go in terms of timeline?
Well, no one likes my answer.
Okay.
But I'm 2 years at the minimum and possibly as far out as 4 years.
This is an examination of the hidden human condition.
This is the Hidden Killers
The
Podcast
Hidden Killers Podcast.
with Tony Bruschi.
Retired FBI Special Agent Jennifer Coffindaffer, thank you so much for taking the time to come on and discuss this case with us. We always appreciate your time. If you like the podcast and you want it ad-free, binge away on it nonstop with no commercials. Become a premium subscriber, a supporter of our program through Apple Podcasts. Go there, get access to not only this podcast, but all of our podcasts that you can binge away on episode by episode, no ads. Try it 3 days free on Apple Podcasts. I highly encourage you to check that out. I'm Tony Bruschi. Stay with us.